Family, loved ones, and friends, thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to discuss a little bit about my personal endeavors in business. So, as you know, I'm a Christian, faith-based, love the Lord, and what I want to do is build relationships with faith and business and just keep trying and pushing that element to help companies grow and recognize how much biblical principles will help them expound in where they are, right? So in that, I was talking to some friends and discussing what I do as an executive, right? And one of the things that we talked about was putting applications in the cloud. And someone, of course, well, what's the cloud? Cloud is something, to demystify it, the cloud is basically a place where all your applications are stored and you're able to access them via your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever. And basically, it's a giant server that stores all your applications. That's it. And basically, you just go there and pick what you want to be able to do versus software here, application over there, and it makes it easy for you to access. So we started talking about what I've done, and they found an interest in the fact that that I have worked with cloud implementation, right? So I shared a little bit about different programs, and they had a keen interest in a specific one, which is PivotCloudFoundry version 2.6. That was the latest and the last one that I worked on. That particular application and implementation, it's a lot in detail. So all you techie people, hang in there with me. You may learn something. And for those who don't know a lot about the cloud, you're definitely going to learn something. So what I advise you to do is take some notes, and we're going to walk through this together. And basically what I'm going to give you is a blueprint. In this blueprint, there's a lot more components that are involved when setting up Pivotal Cloud, but this will help you get a keen, good start and know what directions to go into, okay? So in my development process, excuse me, my voice is acting up with this weather we're having here in wonderful Texas. So one of the things that I do and that I work with development is I work with the business, I work with developers, I work with product owners, I work with project managers, engineers to say, what are we going to develop and how long is it going to take? So there's something that I follow as a principle is a software development life cycle. And in this software development life cycle, you have an analyst phase, you have a design phase, you have a development stage, and a testing stage, and deployment stage, and then you will do maintenance. Now, so in the analysis, what I do is sit with the key contributors, find out what we're going to basically put together or what the business basically wants to be able to do. Then we'll design that. I'll get with some engineers and some architects, and we'll start composing and configuring what that design would look like. Then I get with the engineers for the development piece and the architects, and we work basically hand in hand and start putting this particular project together and in place. Once that particular application has been developed, then we have a testing phase, right? So in the testing phase, we'll get with some testers, some QA engineers, actual users to say, hey, let's test this and see what this would look like for production. And also I'll get with the DevOps team as well, because I'll need them to test it to try to break it. okay? And to see where there possibly are holes that we may not have thought of, you know? But it needs to be a collaborative effort for the best product put into production. After DevOps have signed off, basically, and the testers have signed off, the users have signed off, QA quality engineers have signed off, then we will schedule a time for deployment, which we should have that already in line with the timeline that was basically put together. In that, we'll have some DevOps do and some administrative people to say, okay, it's going to be deployed on this time. And once it's deployed, the users basically start using it. And we'll have this as a maintenance phase, because once they start using it, there's always an opportunity or a chance that something may not have been caught or captured, or once it went into production, had a glitch of some sort and just needs to be corrected. And once it's corrected and the user is satisfied and happy, then they're put into just a regular scheduled maintenance, follow-up, update type of program or system. And that's our software development lifecycle. So with PivotCloudFoundry, I use version 2.6. That's the one that I worked on. So in this, there's going to be several different components that makes up the application input and services. So first of all, there's something that we use called Services Marketplace. Services Marketplace consisted of a component called MySQL. And again, I'm going to break this down as a blueprint that you can follow, and I'm going to take my time so you can get the information. So MySQL is basically an open source relational database that manages all of your data. It's a structured query language that you basically use to manage your data. The next one is Redis, R-E-D-I-S. Redis is another open source memory storage that is used as a distributed in-memory key value database. Another one that helps you with cache, message broker, and optional durability, okay? So there's another component called RabbitMQ. RabbitMQ is a messaging protocol. This is an open source message broker software system that basically helps you implement the advanced message queuing protocol within your system to be able to help you with specific plugins that architects have basically put in to support the streaming of your messagings, okay? To be able to get information back and forth, all right? Pivotal Cloud Cache. Pivotal Cloud Cache is a microservices cache that is needed, that is used by web app loads, right? So just like we have cache with our laptops, we gotta clear certain things out when certain things get loaded up on our laptops, phones, computers, iPads, so forth and so on. This provides an in-memory, scale-out, high-availability data grid for distributed applications. Basically, developers can add low-latency, consistent data access method for their application at scale. Developers use Spring Boot applications when developing. So scaling is like scaling is you basically can go in and out automatically based on the load. So with this, Spring Cloud provides tools for developers to quickly build some of the common partners and patterns in distributed systems. For instance, configuration management, servicing discovery, setting up control bus, right? So from that, you can basically, the developer can basically use and manage this platform using this particular tool. And there's other features within Spring Cloud that can be helpful with distribution and configuration, but that's for the developer to work on and get with. So another component is called partners. Partners use, you can use Mongo database, Crunchy, PostgreSQL, or App Dynamics. And I've used all of these to help. So what Mongo database is another source available for cross-platform document-oriented database programming. So it's classified as a NoSQL database product, but the Mongo database basically utilizes JSON for schemas. JSON basically communicates and connect with programming languages. So all of these that I'm getting ready to share, the Mongo database, PostgreSQL, or App Dynamics, you can use programming languages: Java, JavaScript, Python, Go, PHP, C, C++, Perl, or Ruby, okay? App Dynamics is basically a data collection that helps companies align their data across applications that monitor the performance of that application and the codes that I just gave you from programming language, runtimes, and behavior, okay? So another component that Cloud Foundation uses is CloudFoundry application runtime. So we have our router, which most of you should be familiar with. A router is. Router is your network device that forwards your data packets between computers, whether it's home or businesses, large corporations. It still follows the same principles. So a cloud controller detects and removes orphan blobs by scanning part of the blob store. Blob store is basically where packages are, and depending on what you want to use, they have different packages that you can go and request, right? So basically checking for any blobs that it's in that particular database that does not account for, that controller would basically check for that. So Cloud Controller and Cloud Foundry provide you with REST APIs, endpoints to access the system. Now, a blob. What's a blob? A blob is a binary large object or objects, which is a mass of data in binary form that does not necessarily conform to any file format, but the blob storage keeps these masses of data in non-hierarchical storage areas called data lakes. Data lakes is another component for big data, okay? Large amounts of data that you can attribute, grab, and utilize, right? The next component is something that is called a logregator. Logregator is a firehouse architecture that shows how logs and metrics are transported from components and apps such as monitoring tools. The next area within PivotCloudFoundry is user interfaces, okay? One of the components for user interfaces is CLI. CLI stands for Cloud Foundry Command Line Interface. This basically uses the functionality of managing your apps, services, instances, your orgs, your spaces, users in your environment. Basically, it helps manage all of that so the users can basically grab their applications that they want to use, right? So the CLI command uses the arrangements to specify a specific API endpoint, whether it's logins, credentials, getting to a certain org space. This will help them also with security and keeping certain credentials in and certain credentials out, because everyone doesn't need access to all data, right? So APIs, what are APIs? API stands for Application Programming Interface, which is a way for two or more computer programs to communicate with each other. It's the type of software interface offering its services to other pieces of software within the company. Applications Manager with Spring Boot and Steel Toe integration. This will help managers, developers, application owners, engineers to manage their applications in the CloudFoundry integration by adding the CloudFoundry management. This has certain endpoints to their specific applications that they're working with, right? So they'll be able to monitor, manage, centralize configuration to their specific applications. Now, getting towards the end, there are extensions that also will help once you get your CloudFoundry set up, right? So with that, then we'll have something called PCF Health Watch. PCF Health Watch is a dashboard to help admins and or engineers to monitor at a glance how healthy their applications are running or performing, right? Another thing that you will be able to use in these extensions is something called PCF Metrics. PCF Metrics basically helps the operators find the most useful monitoring tool to help with their applications. Basically, looking at the KPIs. KPIs is key performance indicators. Looking at the health and performance, strength or weakness, or any type of critical items that may be happening to your specific application. PCF App Autoscaler provides functionality to schedule auto scaling up or down. Again, whatever your application performance is need, how much you're using it or not using it, it will auto scale for you to handle the data traffic that may impact the performance of your particular applications, because you want all your applications to perform at its highest level. So PCF Operations Manager is another component. Basically, this is a dashboard for administrating the runtime services with your PCF deployment. And another component is Bosch, CloudFoundry Bosch. What is Bosch? This is an open source software product that offers a tool chain for release engineering, software deployment, and application lifecycle management of large-scale distributed services. All Bosch deployed components generate metrics to be able to monitor applications to ensure performance is okay, that they are not consuming excess resources, because again, you don't want something hindering your application. Something critical may show up, but in these particular dashboards, there are critical alerts, color codings, just like a traffic light, green, yellow, red. Of course, red means something is bad that is happening. With this will help your applications run at its highest peak capacity. So that's what CloudFoundry is, blueprint, okay? Because again, once you start getting into the coding aspect of it, there's certain, and what your company may or may not need, again, login credentials, security, org and space, location, who gets access to your particular data and who doesn't. All that comes into place, and there's certain programming key points that you will have to have programmed in, so your application will flow and function the way that you would like them to flow, and who gets access to it. And all this will make your business functionality a lot better and smoother. Application usage, you'll know when certain things are starting to get bogged down or not working as properly, but also you will find a lot greater use with your applications, with your users, and they can grow and expand to help them be the best that they can be. God bless you. Look forward to the next topic. If you like, send me what you would like for me to discuss from a corporate executive aspect of it. or from something biblical, but as I'm being led to give you life lessons of, again, from truth in life, items that I've learned, and also what I believe God is showing me to share with you. Okay? Love you with the love of the Lord. Take care.